President Obama using the bully pulpit to demand Congress raise the debt ceiling limit and making it clear to Republicans he's not negotiating. With more on this, Ford O'Connell, chairman of the Civic Forum PAC, and Ed Kennard, the former managing director for Bain Capital. He is the author of the book, Unintended Consequences. There it is right there. All right, guys, I want to start with the president today, talk a little bit about his tone as he's talking about the debt ceiling. Here's the president.
The debt ceiling is not a question of authorizing more spending. Raising the debt ceiling does not authorize more spending. It simply allows the country to pay for spending that Congress has already committed to.
Ford, what do you say to that?
He's gearing up for a partisan brawl. Unfortunately, his press conference today was a little hypocritical because when he was a senator in 2006 and George Bush wanted to raise the debt ceiling, he said no and called George Bush a failed leader.
That's
Clearly
right.
Clearly things have changed when you're in the White House about the Senate.
One of the reporters got up and said, hey, only a few years ago you were saying that this kind of fight makes no sense. We've got to have some kind of fiscal discipline. Ed, what do you say to this?
Well, I think the president has been the beneficiary of large increases in mandatory spending because 2/3 of the spending is mandatory, so he doesn't have to pass bills to increase spending. The public's not aware of the increases. There's been a 30% increase. Spending's now at 24% of GDP. Historically, it's been at 20% of GDP.
And so deficits as far as the eye can see.
$1.1 trillion a year. We only raise $1.1 trillion a year in income tax.
So clearly this is a situation that cannot continue forever. Democrats have been saying, let's do an end run, let's take it to the courts. Ford, what do you make of that strategy?
I think it's a losing strategy. There's a reason why the debt ceiling rests with Congress. I think what John Boehner and the House Republicans and the Republicans in the Senate need to say and start using the president's language and say, hey, we need a balanced approach. You're right, President Obama. If you want this debt ceiling raised, let's match it dollar for dollar with spending cuts. At some point, we're going to have to address spending cuts. This is as good a time as any, so let's do it. But I don't think they should go all in, draw the line in the sand, and shut the government down because Ed's right. The public doesn't know a heck of a lot about this, and essentially House Republicans could wind up, being the recipient of the blame for this.
Ed, you say, though, that dollar for dollar doesn't work.
Well, I think dollar for dollar won't get you there, won't balance the budget. It won't stop debt from growing as a percent of GDP because the gap is just too large.
But Ed, I'm not saying it's going to balance the budget. What I'm saying is we have to start this conversation. This is a good place to start making inroads. I think the sequester is a better place to do this, and that's when Republicans really have to draw the line in the sand.
All right.
I agree with you 100% on that.
But Ed, you were saying, which I thought was interesting and somewhat at odds with some of the conservative pundits out there, that there's got to be some negotiation, some give and take on both sides. What do you say?
Well, I think originally what I had said was that any increase in taxes on income that would otherwise be invested should be linked to stopping debt from growing as a percent of GDP. Because I was afraid in the first round of negotiations that Republicans would simply give away tax increases but get very little for it, which is basically what has happened. Now, they didn't give a huge amount of tax increases away, although still, nevertheless, they gave it, but they got very little in return for what they gave.
Oh, yeah. Well, and look at this. Ford, to you. The president's raised the debt limit 4 times, totaling $5 trillion. I mean, he likes to say, oh, this is spending we've already done. It's over. It's out the door. But at the end of the day, every time they raise this debt ceiling, federal spending rises. That becomes the new norm. We go to that level, and then taxpayers have to pay that tab.
Well, that's absolutely right, and this cannot continue. We have to get our spending under control, and really it's up to Republicans in Congress to really educate the public on where we're headed, because at the rate we're at, we're going to be at $20 trillion, by 2016, and this can't continue because eventually, if this continues, we're going to get a credit downgrade, and basically that's going to hit the average person because their dollar is going to buy less. This is the biggest problem of the next 2 decades.
Ed, last question to you. Another debt downgrade. What would that mean for the markets? What would it mean for the economy? And would Republicans again get the blame?
Well, I think Republicans unfairly got the blame the last time because what really causes a credit downgrade? Uncontrolled spending and an inability to bring it back into bounds. That's what really causes a credit downgrade. These little squabbles that we have over the debt ceiling and the fiscal cliff, ultimately they get resolved and they don't change the status quo much. So if you go back and look at history, you realize this is not really what is threatening our creditworthiness. It's spending.
Spending, and we can't get it under control, and nobody will do anything about it, right, Ford?
Absolutely. And to Ed's point, if we want to do this, we're going to have to modernize entitlements and have structural entitlement reform, because with 10,000 people turning 65 every day, this is unsustainable, and we have to modernize the system, or else we're going to just spiral out of control into debt.
Well, Ford, from your lips to God's ear. We've got a long way to go. Ed, thanks for coming on, too. It was great to have both of you here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.